One review. Book one is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He is the author of the book American Playground, no other than Mr. Michael Isaac Shokrian.
How are you doing?
I'm fabulous, Mr. Michael, and welcome to Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
My name is Michael Shokrian. I am a writer. I've been a writer for most of my adult life. I've had plenty of jobs, big and small, that helped to support my writing career. I've been a publisher and an editor in chief. I've been a waiter. I've been a cook. A lot of different jobs. Right now, I am a practicing attorney in Studio City, California, but I've been writing regularly for the past I would say 30 plus years, and I'm just finishing up and sending out my first novel after a lot of hard work and a lot of balancing of responsibilities as an adult.
Mr. Michael Children, thank you so much for sharing your book to the world. Can you give us a brief overview of what American Playground is about?
Yeah, sure. American Playground is a novel. It's I would say, a semi-autobiographical type of novel based on my experience about a 6-year-old boy who is moved from Tehran to Los Angeles in the early 70s. And his challenge and his goal is to learn about English, learn how to speak English, learn about America, learn about American culture, and he does all of that on the job training, basically, on the playground at the school that he's enrolled in. Um, he doesn't really speak any English. He doesn't really understand any of the culture, so he's kind of thrown in. And the book takes place from the period of between second grade and sixth grade. And basically, it's supposed to be a metaphor for how people learn the rules of the road, how people learn about a new culture or a new language or anything where they don't have any training wheels or guidance. They just have to figure it out. And there's nowhere more real and raw than a kid's playground where you are forced to figure out the rules and find your way in short order. And that's what the book's about.
Find your way indeed. So, Mr. Michael, what does the title American Playground symbolize in the story?
It symbolizes the turf where where the main character is thrust. It's a The playground is can be a fun place, but it's also a tough place. It's made out of hard concrete. There's a lot of walls. There's a lot of fences. There's a lot of obstacles, and it's a training ground. A playground is a training ground. A playground is a place where you play and where you learn. And American is what he's learning. So American Playground, I think, is a perfect title.
Indeed, perfect title, Mr. Michael. And is the book based on real events, personal experiences, or pure fiction?
Well, I wouldn't say it's pure fiction, but yeah, I would say that there are nuances of reality of personal experience in the book, but everything that happens in the book is fiction. All the characters are fictionalized characters, but just like any writer, you write what you know, and some of these characters are based on people that I know and I grew up with, and some of the situations that the main character finds himself in are definitely based on real situations that I experienced myself. So it's fiction.
It fiction indeed. And what message or feeling did you want readers to take away from the book?
Well, I think that the main message is that we all, as citizens, as community members, as Americans, and as people, we're always trying to find our way. We're trying to find out where we belong and who we are. Um, and most of the time, we're trying to be somebody else. We're trying to match up to somebody else's standards or codes of operation. And really, you have to go through a lot of hard stuff before you realize that you can't really do anything or go anywhere without first uh, accepting who you are, knowing who you are, and accepting who you are. And you can move on from there. But if you're going to spend your time always trying to be somebody else or trying to meet other people's standards, you will always be struggling.
Mr. Michael, how did the American culture or landscape influence your storytelling?
Well, I have been studying writing since I finished high school. And when I started UCLA, I was an English major, an English major, literature major. So most of what I learned was American literature and English literature. Excuse me. And those writers influenced me greatly. I learned storytelling and words, phrases, images. Everything I learned by reading those greats that were mainly American and English literature. So I think mm, only in my later years, when I was deep into writing and reading, did I venture out into other languages or other literary cultures. But my main training ground was American Lit and English Lit.
Indeed, American literature. Mr. Michael, how long did it take you from the first idea to the finished manuscript?
Hmm. Well, that's a good question. And, I could tell you it took me 5 years or 15 years. It just depends on how you start the clock. Um, I was mostly a short story writer. My focus was on short fiction, and I think that's a great art form. I still do. Um, and I had finished, perfecting about 10 or 11 short stories, and I wanted to prepare them for a publication. I spoke with a couple of agents and some smaller publishers, and they gave me some advice about how debut writers should focus on novels. So I took two or three of those stories from my collection because they were sort of connected. And I started weaving them together and adding a whole lot of new material around them to create this novel. So I would say, you know, probably 5 or 6 years that it took me to do it. Of course, I had a full time job, and I am a father of three boys, and so I have a lot of other responsibilities and obligations. Um, but I had a schedule where I worked on my writing every morning for about 3 hours a day, and so with that, uh, it took about 5 or 6 years to write it, to revise it, to re-edit it, to have first, second, and third final drafts. It's hard work, but it's the work that I love to do. So it was fun for me.
Fun, fun, fun indeed. Was there a particular scene that was especially challenging or emotional to write?
Well, I think that the biggest challenge was to um, um, arrive at the ending that I knew was the true um theme of the book. Um, you really have to dig in to your own issues or your own questions about who you are and what you are, um, and to be able to incorporate that theme into the characters and the plot of the story was a real challenge, and it really forced me to confront who I am right now, because I spend most of my days pretending to to be a lawyer or
Hmm.
somebody that's deeply into the business world, but I always had my hidden self, which I always thought was my true self, which was the writer. And so a lot of that is in the book as well, is that you have to accept who you are, and you have to be able to admit who you are outwardly and to yourself before you can accept the rest of the world. So that was the challenge. The challenge was to figure out if I could live the reality that I was trying to teach in the book.
Mr. Michael, were there any books or authors that influenced your writing style for this project?
Um, yeah, I think I learned a lot early on when I was a student at UCLA. I studied Sherwood Anderson. He was a short story writer who had a great control of words and images. He was a beautiful writer, and a writer, I would say, of American culture, American literature. So he was a big influence on me, and of course, Ernest Hemingway was a big influence. Um, and later on, I discovered Charles Bukowski, who really changed everything for me. Um, and um, and there was a few other writers sprinkled in between. But I would say Anderson and Hemingway and Bukowski were the first real inspirations for me as a writer.
Mr. Michael, what part of the book are you most proud of?
Mm, good, good question. I think I'm most proud of finishing it. Really, I can't say that there's one part. There are a lot of mm, different sections that were very difficult to get on paper. Um, Cringeworthy truths that everybody kind of experiences internally, and to get those out. Um, when you do it right, it feels really good. There's definitely a section of the book where I take a very big leap, where one of the characters goes in a very, very different direction than anybody might expect. And that was a real gamble. And my philosophy always was, if you're going to take a big leap, you better nail that landing. So that was a real challenge that I think I accomplished it, and I think it turned out pretty good. So I'm proud of
And we are proud for you, Mr. Andrew. Good job for sharing your novel to the world. Did your characteristic or did your character surprise you during writing process by taking the story in unexpected directions?
Definitely. Um, each character that I introduced in the book was somewhat based on somebody I knew or somebody I had interactions with. Um, and once you once you commit to those characters and bring them into the book, you have to really let them explore what they're going to do, not what you want them to do. And so that was definitely, something that I had to uh, give away control of, and experiment with what those characters wanted to do or should do. Um, and that was a lot of fun. It was challenging, and sometimes they went into different directions, and then you have to kind of revisit the whole thing. But yeah, I think that if you're patient and open minded, it's pretty fun to let the characters reach and find their truth as well, and let them run with it.
Mr. Michael, was there a point when you almost gave up on writing the book?
I don't think so. I think that there was a lot of times as I was going through it when I questioned how I was going to get it done, or if I was going to get it done. And if anybody that's a writer is very familiar with failure and rejection, it's kind of part of the process. And so it's not like I was unfamiliar with the possibility of failing, um, but I never considered not doing it. I just kept trying to figure out ways to get it done. Um, so yeah, I think that that's part of the writer's life, is that you're confronted with that question of whether or not you should quit, probably every day. Um, but usually you end up just figuring out a way to get it done, and not to give in to that question.
Mr. Michael, as an author, what will be your short term and long term goals?
Well, I've been writing for over 30 years. I have a lot of material, a lot of finished stories and half finished novels. Um, so my short term goal is to get American Playground into the hands of as many readers and reviewers and critics as possible, and to make American Playground have a place um, in today's book and literary world. Um, my long term goal is to continue doing that with my other works, and to have the space to finish the stuff that I've been working on, and to get them out there. And hopefully, I learned a lot from this project, that the next projects are going to be mm, less bumpy and and more smooth. Although you never know what's going to show up. So
Less bumpy indeed, and good luck to your goal, Mr. Michael. And what will be your advice for those people out there want to write their own book?
well, um, I think that being a writer is a real calling. You have to really believe that that's what you're meant to do. And whether it's writing or any other calling, I would say, is you have to really honor that part of yourself. If that's who you are, if that's what you believe that you're destined to do, then you need to find a way to get to do it every day. And you're not going to get it all done in a day. You're not going to get it all done in a week. It's a matter of um, honoring it on a daily basis. Every day, if you're an artist, every day you do some art. If you're a writer, every day you do some writing. If you're a rabbi, every day you pray and you study. Whatever your calling is. If you're a nurse, every day you're going to try to make people feel better and heal. So everybody has a true nature and a true calling, and I think the goal for everybody is to find what that is and to give it the honor and the space that it deserves. I think everybody is better off when they do that.
Indeed. Thank you for your advice, Mr. Michael. Is there a particular quote or passage from the book that feel captures its essence?
um, None that I can read for you today, but um, I think that the book is written from the perspective of a young boy who is looking at the real world, the big adult world, and his kids' world. And there are definitely excerpts and pockets of realization that come to him that crystallize what it is to be in America, to be an immigrant, to be somebody who is in the minority, who has to figure out the languages, who has to rely on people to help him or her, uh, find their way. And so there's a few excerpts in there that I think do crystallize that, and those were actually very fun because those were realizations that I, as the writer, come to as I'm going through it all. Um, and I think every character in the book kind of has their own reality moment where they, you know, they get their perspective, what it's like to be in America, what it's like to be an immigrant in America, um, what it's like to be reliant on others, a humility that I think everybody learns sometimes the hard way. Um, yeah, I think it's all in there. I can probably find some passages, but yeah, not right now.
Yes, indeed. So, Mr. Michael, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast because Abstract Essay is already in fifth season, Abstract Poetry in second season, Book 101 Review in its fifth season, Comedy 101 in second season, and Food 101 in its fifth season as well. Geography 101 and Love Letters are in third season, and my baby podcast Mental Health 101 and Movie 101 review, as well as Music 101 in its fourth season. Science 101 is Sex 101 in its first season, and please do listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Mr. Michael, are you planning a sequel, companion novel, or another project related to American Playground?
Well, I have two other nearly done pieces. I don't know if I would call them companion pieces, but one of them is high school era um, story, and another one involves similar characters that are identified in this book from a completely different angle. So yes, I'm always
Yes,
working, and there's a lot of stuff.
yes, indeed, Mr. Michael Isaac Shokrian. Thank you so much for sharing your novel to the world. So, can you please invite our
My
listeners
pleasure.
to can you please invite our listeners to support your book itself?
Absolutely. The book is that right now available everywhere, online in some bookstores. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, bookshop.org, Kobo. I also have an author's website. It's mishokrian.com, mishokrian.com, and they can find all the links to buy the book and a lot of other fun stuff on that website.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Michael Isaac Shukrian because if you support him, more and more and more empowering novels like this to come. So, Mr. Michael, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
More to come, people. See you soon.